Biden spoke to union members yesterday. I believe this is the North America Building Trades Union here. He addressed the Amazon unionization effort and the successful vote, although there's still a ways to go, in Staten Island. And he made a pretty broad pronouncement and said, watch out, Amazon, essentially. Let's watch.
That's what unions are about, in my view, about providing dignity and respect for people who bust their neck. That's why I created the White House Task Force on Worker Organization Empowerment, to make sure the choice to join a union belongs to workers alone. And by the way, Amazon, here we come. Watch.
Like, I mean, that's Biden at his best, honestly.
And listen to the roar of that audience. I mean, obviously, the National Building Trades Union's going to be excited about stuff like that. But that is stuff that is hard for politicians to just walk away from. And Democrats love to walk away from this stuff. But if there's enough of that energy, exactly, like that, it's impossible, and they get caught up in the moment. And we should applaud Joe Biden. And if he really wants to help out Amazon workers, he can do what Chris Small said, which is pass the PRO Act.
Right. Well, and then so those are the caveats there, right? He made very little effort to pressure Manchin. I mean, it's not just Manchin and Sinema. It's going to be like guys like Mark Warner, even maybe more vociferously, who are opposed to the PRO Act.
But your senators, Joe. Yeah,
he did not pressure them adequately. He did not pressure those same senators adequately on Build Back Better, which would have included some of the PRO Act elements. So he failed in that regard. But that doesn't mean that this doesn't have value. And I think it's stark to compare Jay Carney, former Obama press secretary, is one of the top executives at Amazon right now. By the way, his cover photo on Twitter is of him hugging Biden. It's not subtle at all. And he hasn't tweeted since the Amazon union vote that sided in favor of the union. He's down bad.
I mean, a lot of just horrible people, alumni of the Obama administration. And better keep those guys quiet.
It shows progress, and it also shines light on the strength of Biden's, which was that he always did fashion himself as a pro-union guy, maybe more in aesthetic than in actual practice. But again, I want to reiterate that this does have value. And I know it's not tangible, and I know it's not the PRO Act. But there was rumblings that Biden had resentment towards kind of the Harvard intelligentsia elites that Obama had stacked his administration with. And he wants to be more of the regular Joe, the guy that takes the train, the guy that supports unions. And so when he's off the cuff like this, being pro-union, I think that we have to mark that as progress, especially in comparison to what the Obama administration fashioned themselves as. Did Obama say the word worker once? I mean, I'm sure he did, but it was not an emphasis.
Yeah, and it blows out future and even past excuses that politicians gave for not showing up for workers. So and putting them, rhetorically delivering for them at least. And there's no excuses not to stay silent during fights like this.
Right. So I was happy to see that, but some people were not happy to see that. Let's first start with Chuck Todd, who was, I believe, on MSNBC, or was it NBC? You guys have it? Yeah, they were airing this speech, and when Biden began to talk about workers and unions, Chuck Todd was like, this is not interesting. This is not about Ukraine, so thing doesn't go boom, and I don't care.
I want to talk about what I'm here today to talk about. You women are men and the American union movement. Remember.
Okay, pause it for a sec. Look at the chyrons beneath this. It's about Kyiv, and this war could continue for a long time. He is speaking
against the war against the capitalists by the laborers.
Well, maybe it's accurate. You're right. You're right. Except it's because he briefly talks about Ukraine here, and that's clearly the only thing that MSNBC cares about. Keep going.
Remember, when the Fair Labor Standards
We wanted to
Act
bring
was
you the
first
top
passed,
of those
everybody said,
remarks. I'm
"Have
Chuck
you?"
Todd here at Meet the Press Daily. We wanted to bring you the top of those remarks. We knew they were going to be about the latest decision by the U.S. government and the Biden administration to announce some new sanctions on Russia. The rest of his speech, it is a union event. It is obviously not expected to be about Russian sanctions. Bring you any news. If it happens, you can go find the speech online if you would like. The new sanctions, in coordination with the G7 and EU, are part of the Biden administration's.
Is that not unbelievable? Like,
It's like he's apologizing to the executives. Like, why are we running Joe Biden at a union event?
Yes.
It's like, well, he was doing something about Ukraine, guys. Please
Right.
don't. Yeah.
right, please. I mean, then we'll get back to the normal coverage of and again, it's worthwhile, of course, to cover Ukraine. But that's, I mean, again, I will bring up my infamous laundry room, which always has CNN on. That's all is being discussed. That's it. And if there's anything that challenges capitalists, if there's anything that challenges capital, and Biden is like addressing this wide unionization effort throughout the country where workers are understanding the value of their labor. That's not sexy. That's actually very scary for the MSNBC executives. So let's cut away. But Psaki was also feeling the heat here too, because as I mentioned earlier, Biden is still cozy with some of the not cozy, wants to maintain the relationships with some of these people in the Biden or the Obama administration, his former colleagues in that way. And Jay Carney, top executive there, Amazon and big tech during the Democratic primary also was financially much more behind Biden than any of the other candidates. So here's Jen Psaki trying to walk back one of the very good Biden improv statements, but she's got to bring up the rear guard for industry here.
Can I ask, President Biden today told union members, Amazon, here we come. Was he endorsing the efforts of workers to unionize Amazon facilities?
What he was not doing is sending a message that he or the U.S. government would be directly involved in any of these efforts or take any direct action. What he was conveying is that is his longtime support for collective bargaining, for the rights of workers to organize, and their decision to do exactly that in this case, something that he has long supported broadly over the course of his career.
Which, you know, if she wasn't trying to be like, we're not targeting Amazon specifically, that wouldn't be contradictory to what he said, because when he said Amazon, here we come, he's talking about unionization. He does support if he supports collective bargaining, he supports it in Amazon's case specifically, and it's the most high profile one that's out there right now. But at the same time, she's got to just calm the waters a bit, and so the Amazon doesn't give Biden the stern phone call. Yeah, this is what it looks like to try to ride two horses at once and see if the Democratic Party can actually do it. Probably not. Right. But you got to pick a side. You got to ultimately, and Joe Biden picked a side. And it is like classic Joe, right? I remember this is a big fucking deal thing when he said, it was said about healthcare, and like that was cool. But the thing that was cool about that wasn't like Obamacare. It was like that the Democrats for once were proud of delivering sort of public goods to people, and it turned out to be an aberration, sort of. But like I'm very happy Joe did that, and I hope Uncle Joe does more of that stuff. Yes. Again, and then just to wrap this up, his off the cuff stuff is mostly bad, right? He's during the primary yelling at immigration activists for demanding more from him, for example, but there is this one instinct of his that's been right for a while, and it's to support, at least rhetorically, workers here. So again, more of this, and pass the PRO Act. Yeah, pass the PRO Act.